I'm Dr. Duke, and this is Constitution Corner. Joined today for a conversation in Constitution Corner with Caleb Collier, who is a coordinator for the John Birch Society, serving Eastern Washington, parts of Idaho and Montana, a real fertile place in the country for these kinds of ideas. And Caleb, I want to talk to you today about what we saw in the debates last night, what we've been seeing from the Democrat Party during this primary season. This radical shift left, right? I mean, it's almost impossible to be a moderate in the Democrat Party. We have pretty much the Democrat Party has told Bernie Sanders said this, Buttigieg said this, that if you're a pro-life Democrat, we don't want you. So they've gone far left. And I wanted to talk to you because the Constitution is your specialty. I wanted to talk to you about the consequences to the Constitution of this radical left-wing push by the Democrats.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr. Duke. The moderates have moved over to the Republican Party. And so, it's that incremental movement now that is taking us further and further away from the Constitution. I use this visual aid oftentimes when I'm going around and speaking to individuals, is if you can picture, a chair as the Constitution and two individuals standing to the left of that chair, well, that represents the Republican and Democrat parties. And as you're seeing policies being enacted by the left, they're taking a big giant step to the left. And then when the right gets upset about something, they take a little tiny step back towards the Republican Party. And then the media jumps in and congratulates the Democrats at the left for being willing to compromise. And then the right takes a step towards the left. And that's what you're seeing time and time again. You can go back, at least a couple of decades, and you can watch this happen over time, where they're slowly moving us away from the Constitution. And that doesn't benefit any of us. When you're talking about, the Democrat debates, they are like trying as hard as they can to out-left each other. It's wild to watch. I never thought I'd see this. With Sanders last time in 2016, he was that far-left candidate. And everybody else was trying to say, I'm the more moderate, I'm the more progressive, the candidate that could actually win. Now they're all trying to out-left each other.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Just, 10 years ago, Obama and Hillary Clinton were against gay marriage. 20 years ago, Democrats wanted abortions to be legal, but rare, very rare, right? Now they've completely 180'd on these issues. And perhaps the most alarming thing I saw from yesterday's debates was you actually had Bernie Sanders, who is the front runner, kind of a runaway train right now. I mean, the Democrat delegates love him, and he basically is praising dictators. He's talking about the wonderful things that Fidel Castro did. I mean, it's all well and good that you know how to read, but if you're getting beaten to death by the time you're 30 years old because you're a dissident, that reading doesn't help you all that much. The fact that they can be so brazen about this, how does that affect what we teach kids? How does that affect how the average American citizen sees the Constitution?
Yeah, well, I saw a recent poll where it said 4 out of 10 Americans now view socialism as favorably. And that's extremely dangerous. That means we're so close to losing this country. And, their arguments, they just hold water. They're constantly saying, well, that's not, Democrat socialism, whatever that is, or, real socialism has never been tried. And they like to point to Denmark, for example, which the John Birch Society did a fantastic article actually destroying that argument. But the thing is why would we want to dabble with something that has resulted in the deaths of millions of people when we have a Republican form of government that has worked? We know it works. We just got to return to it.
It is funny, isn't it, that everybody points to the Nazis, horrible as they were, as being the great killers of Western culture. I mean, for every one person that was slaughtered by Nazis, you had 100 that were killed by socialists in various iterations. Why is there not the same outrage over presidential candidates who claim to ally with murderous socialists than the ones who no one really identifies with the Nazis anymore? But why is one tolerated and the other one would never be tolerated?
That's a great question. And really what I think it is it's that big lie that fascism and Nazism are far-right ideologies. And they've tricked the American public into believing that. And just like any lie, there's an element of truth. Any good lie has an element of truth to it. And so when a communist or a socialist says that fascism or Nazism is far-right of them, well, in reality, it is a little bit right of them. But it's not at all at the zero spectrum of government, which you would actually find anarchy. And then if you come back a little bit more, you've got our limited government that our founders gave us. But if you give that 50% mark, you can see that Nazism, fascism, they all are big government ideologies. And so there's that little bit of truth that they're putting into that lie for them to believe that, hey, Nazism and fascism are far-right ideologies. And, everybody needs a boogeyman. Every government needs that boogeyman because those fear tactics, just like in 1984, they keep us on edge and they make it to where they can control us that much better. And so they're using that fascism or Nazism term in order to actually get us into that state of fear. And then they're promoting the idea of socialism and communism because, hey, it establishes a utopia here on Earth.
Caleb, we got about 20 seconds left. Give a shout out to your podcast. You have an important podcast. I want people to hear about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do a show called Church and State, and you can find that at churchandstate.media or on Facebook at Church and State 1776. Would appreciate all your listeners to come check us out.
Don't just know your Constitution, live it. Collier does. Caleb Collier does, that's for sure. This has been Liberty News Hour. As always, go to thenewamerican.com or jbs.org for more information and for more shows.